Good evening, friends. I'm Cassandra Joan Butler, and this is Cosmic Connections for the week. And here we are. We are doing our new moon discussion because we had a new moon on Moon Day. And so, have you set your intentions? Remember this, every month we get to redo, reboot, reconfigure some aspect of our lives. And this time it's in the sign of Cancer. And Cancer is all about safety and security and belonging. Cancer is about protectionism and feeling safe. So issues along those lines might be coming up in your rumination, especially because we have Mercury retrograde in Cancer, and that's been retrograding since the 29th of June. Hi, Barbara. Nice to see you. Big hugs to anyone who's jumping in here and saying hello. Hi, Joni. So I don't know about you, but it feels I've been very affected by this Mercury retrograde. Now, all aspects, all the time, don't affect everyone individually. That's why people consult with astrologers, right? Because we would say everybody's going to feel this way. That would be a lie. Astrology is the intersection of the matrix you were born with, your natal chart, and then the weather outside and how it's affecting you. So for me, I've had some issues with communications, with computers, the typical things with the Mercury retrograde, because the Mercury started retrograding. Retrograding means redoing, going backwards, ruminating. It was squaring my Mercury. So this whole couple of weeks, I've been feeling just kind of discombobulated, excited about things, getting a lot of work done, especially at Lilydale. But I heard and experienced from many clients, from many, even friends and family, that from the full moon of the 29th of June until the 14th of yesterday, the new moon in Cancer, there's been a lot of emotions coming up to be purged. And that's okay. We're going to take a look at the chart and give you a little rundown of where those vulnerabilities are being experienced in your chart. That's number one. Number two, I'm just so excited with the class last night. I would love to express everything we covered during our Zoom class last night, but I'm going to touch on the highlights, because yesterday's new moon class in Cancer also covered the different titles of this. The gigantic configuration at 10 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. It's known as the Barbeau basket, the angel sextile, and it's just a very fascinating configuration, which I will also be sharing with you tonight. So, hi, Ryan and Donna and Tammy and Peggy. Good evening. Hello, Nancy and Patricia and Donna. You're rebooting in California. Awesome, Barbara. Kathy, I hope you're rebooting also in Florida. Good evening, Janet. Hello. And that reboot is happening where we find our Cancer energy. So identify where that falls, and here's the chart for the new moon, taking place very early yesterday morning at 5:43 in the morning, and was at the 21st degree of Cancer. Now, the 21st degree of Cancer, we always round it up to the Sabian symbol of a young woman awaiting a ship. She's looking out over the seas, awaiting her ship to come in. And so, among other things, the feeling tone of this new moon, and the new moon is kind of coloring the feeling for the next month, month, get it, right? Is expectancy. So how are we expecting life? How are we looking forward to the future? Are we expecting greatness, goodness? Are we expecting danger? Are we expecting difficulties? So ask yourself that very question, where you find Cancer, expect, and then this is the free will piece, what you hope for your highest and best. The new moon is attached to the Mercury retrograde. Like I mentioned, that's been retrograde since June 29th, since that beautiful full moon. So we might be changing our minds and ruminating and feeling emotional, not feeling as safe as we might want to feel. And of course, that rumination and that changing of the mind in the past 48 hours has been also reflected upon by governments and administrations and changing their minds about the direction, going this direction, the shifting. You'll see that in the outer world, but you might see that in your inner world as you face the future with expectancy, the meaning of this new moon. All right, so there's that. And I'd like to point out something which I think is very positive. And as we go through the rest of this month, we'll see this stronger, especially at the full moon, which we'll be talking about in 2 weeks, of the 29th of July. We have Hygeia next to Jupiter. Now, Jupiter, among other things, is the planet that represents truth, abundance. I like to refer to Jupiter as Santa Claus, but Jupiter has a great deal of hope woven into its archetypal meaning. Next to Hygeia, which is health, is an interesting placement because don't we all want to have hope with our health? It's interacting, this configuration, these two asteroid, Hygeia, Jupiter planet, are next to each other, opposite Pluto and Juno. So let's put this into a sentence. Pluto is about transformation. It can mean power, manipulation, and control. And Juno is partnership. And it's talking to the planet of truth next to health. So one interpretation might be when you are working with your health practitioners, whether that be your acupuncturist or your MD or your naturopath, your homeopath, your massage therapist, whomever, develop or cultivate a partnership with that individual. To me, that's the message of this opposition. We have to work together. Yes, you, practitioner, are a wealth of information of stuff I have no idea about, but I want to work with you to understand how I am improving my health with this special Jupiter in the position. So that's one aspect of this new moon. And we're going to go a lot deeper on Sunday. So let's talk about how the new moon is rebooting for you. If you're Aries or Aries rising, the new moon is placing out in the area of the chart that represents home and family and feeling secure. So making some changes therein would be a great idea for the next month. Taurus or Taurus rising people are finding that this new moon energy is actually helping you look at and expose your relationship with time, your schedule. So be aware, Taurus, that you might be looking at ways to maximize the most out of your life by making better friends with time, with the clock. Also, your brothers and sisters might be playing very strongly in your life in the next month, relationships with your siblings. For our Gemini or Gemini rising, the focus is on income, self-worth, and value, making the most of your dollars, making perhaps a new flow, a new income flow with a hobby. All eyes are on the Cancers. So happy birthday, Cancer sun signs and Cancer rising signs out there, because this new moon is strengthening your resolve, your protectionism, your sensitivity, your intuition, and your kindness. So that's the focus for Cancer or Cancer rising. Now, our Leo friends or Leo risers, they might be feeling a little fatigued. They might be feeling a little under the weather because this is the month before the sun is activated by that beautiful Leo solar eclipse on August 12th. So the Leos might be feeling not fantastic right now. So pay attention to your body, but very sharp with intuition and compassion and getting dreams and guidance, but maybe not as strong physically. For Virgo or Virgo rising, this new moon is activating their friendship house, their colleagues, their socializing, and they want to reboot those aspects of their lives. For Libra or Libra rising, it's all about your leadership in the outer world. Perhaps that represents your career. It can even represent some form of avocation or volunteer work, but the keynote here is leadership. For Scorpio or Scorpio rising, you're getting the urge to travel a little bit this week because that's where the new moon is signaling the Scorpios to try and expand their lives through travel or new learning. Sagittarius, of course, is the travel sign, but this particular month ahead is about you activating long-term financial security, managing debt, managing savings, looking at the well-being of your long-term finances. For Capricorn or Capricorn rising, this new moon is the time of the year for you to focus in on your partners, becoming a better partner or asking your partner to be a better partner to you. So it's the give and take, yin and yang of partnering for our caps. Aquarius, it's time for you to take pains and carefulness with your health routine in particular. Get your checkups, do your due diligence, eat right, sleep right, and move right. For Pisces or Pisces rising, you're feeling like you want to have a party. This new moon is activating your creativity, your fun, your joy. So there you have it, friends. I want to say hello to those who are in the room and those who I don't see your name. So big hello to everybody. Hi, Donna. Oh gosh, Ryan, we should speak. Okay, that Mercury retrograde, right? Was happy to chat with you. Anne Marie, hello. Hi, Katie Clark. Hi, Terry. Hi, Cindy Claire. Yes, good evening from Smoky Buffalo. A word about the fires and the dangerous evaluation of our breathing situation here in Western New York. I haven't checked how widespread this is, but many of you are probably aware of this. The weather apps will give you some guidance on healthy atmosphere conditions through the summer, and it is very smoky and very difficult and dangerous for people to be outside, especially if they have compromised lungs. Janet's having some challenging time with Mercury. Good evening, Jojo. Yes, prayers for Canada. Double, triple, quadruple the prayers and attention towards our neighbors to the beautiful north. Hi, good evening, Gail. Hi, Brittany. How are you? Hi, Summer from the beautiful west. Hi, Gail. Hi, Angela D. Yes, what changes that big question? Same for us in Niagara County. Hi, Laura. Nice to see you. Hello, Marianne and Jody and Bobby and John. Good evening. Oh, no, Ryan. Astrology is not designed to make us fearful. We definitely have to speak on that. Hi, Min. Thanks for being here from Atlanta. Okay, nice to see you. Hi, Sue. It's bad in Michigan as well. Valerie. Oh, thank you, Valerie. I'm glad you were there. That was awesome. Sherry R. Nice to see you. Rodney, good evening. Okay, Gurjeet. Hello, darling. All right. I'm going to talk about some recourse that we will all be stepping into on Sunday. Here it is. It's the golden sextile. Let me tell you a little backstory on this. The configuration you're seeing was very much investigated and written about by the late, great Rene Valbol. He was an astrologer who specialized in cycles. All of us have our specialties. All of us have our interests. I like human psychology, and I also like historical cycles as well. So this is very appealing to me. And he was speaking about this very rare configuration. I'm going to spell it out for you on Sunday. There's tons of stuff on the net about it. It's given different names. It's called a basket. You can see a 5-pointed star in the midst. It's also called the angel sextile, which I personally like. But what this sextile is communicating to us is the rarity of the major outer planets, with the exception of Saturn, lined up at 4, count them, 4 degrees. Now, they're not exactly 4 degrees with minutes, but they are 4 degrees nonetheless. So you can see this on the screen. We have Uranus, right? Uranus is doing a beautiful trine to Pluto, 4 degrees. That's number one. Number two, Neptune is sextiling Pluto and Uranus at 4 degrees of Aries. Then we have Jupiter opposing Pluto. By the way, that's Juno in the mix next to Pluto. That's the message for everybody to be detached about people trying to change you in relationships, and using the gift of the 4 agreements, right? Don't take anything terribly personally. To me, that's my interpretation of Pluto traveling with Juno, the partnership energy. Let them be who they are. It's not about me. They can be any way they want, and I'm going to sit back and let them. I'm quoting a very powerful book that was published when Pluto first went into Aquarius by Mel Robbins. I diverge. Anyway, more 4s. Pluto is at 4, opposite Jupiter at 4 degrees. And oh, look at here. At 10 a.m. Eastern Time, the moon is going to also be at 4 degrees opposite Neptune. There's a lot of richness. So the original astrologer, Rene Barbot, a French astrologer, was talking about this as an expansiveness of the culture and the civilization. He predicted or wrote about the very challenging Saturn-Pluto conjunction at 21 degrees of Capricorn way back when? On January 12th of 2020, which of course ushered in the COVID crisis. He spoke about that. He spoke about that in his writings as the civilization was imploding, because Capricorn is about control and governments, among other things. And then he spoke about this Sunday's configuration, which is, he was speaking about like a new golden era. Now, I agree with a very incredibly brilliant and esteemed astrologer, Rick Levine, who, commercial time, will be in Lilydale for the Astrology Week in the middle of August. So come out to Lilydale for Astrology Week. Rick Levine, among other luminary astrologers, will be there lecturing. Anyway, he really introduced this to me in his research. He says, you know what? If astrologers think they can predict what's going to happen on Sunday, they're wrong. And I liked his attitude, because astrology is not always about prediction as much as it is about description, my words, description about the vibration, the atmosphere, the feeling tone in the outer world and how it's affecting us, right? But here's a couple of observations about the sextile. So it's sextiles, by the way, friends, for those who are kind of new to astrology, is the aspect or the degree, 60 degrees between 2 planets, of opportunity. This is the opportunistic day of this angel sextile. But opportunities only materialize when what? You put the effort in, you put the work in. So this is a golden opportunity for us to look at the opportunities in our world. Barbara was talking about, is this a golden era? Because the culture is taking a look at itself and trying to make some changes therein, and eliminating the earthiness of Capricorn, for one thing, which is about manifesting control over the material world. This is more highly elevated with the elements of air, thinking, socializing, networking, and fire, which is the vision. So this is a visionary type of moment in time and space in astrology, speaking to each of us. How? My friends, look at where 4 is in your chart. What planets, what placements, what asteroids, what cusp points in your chart that are at the 4 degrees point. Even if it's not a sign, right? Because Pluto and Jupiter are in fixed signs, right? They're in Aquarius opposite Leo. So, for example, if you're a 4 degree Scorpio or Taurus, you're still going to be feeling a part of this opportunistic moment. I promise I wouldn't get too much into the intricacies of this, except to say this. 4 in numerology is the number of building templates, building a sense of structure in our lives. So be open to downloads on Sunday that can give you a new sense of spiritual, material blueprints that you can rebuild your life in somewhere in your life, especially where you find these magical fours, 4 square, right? So that's just a little introduction. I probably will be doing something of a video about this on Sunday because I think it's so important. The one more thing I will mention that a lot of astrologers have overlooked is that these outer planets involved, which are Uranus, which is technology, Neptune, which is dreams and spirituality, Pluto, which is transformation, and of course the moon as well, and Jupiter, which is optimism. All the planets are coalescing, right? Except Saturn. And Saturn is the great builder of the new template. So in some ways, this is a cerebral moment of opportunity, but not necessarily acting and making it into the real world. So just some of my thoughts there. All right. I'm going to now do our spiritual work. I'll say goodbye to the slides. And before I do that, I'll say hello to Mary and Deb. And let's see if I can get up here. My computer's not being agreeable. Let's see. Well, I need it to be. Hi, Cheryl. Hi, Donna. Hi, Becky. Okay, Tammy. Nice to see you. Yes, Donna. Nice to see you. Ryan, Donna. Yeah, a lot of interesting things indeed. I like Ryan's comments of these lovely plants. Hi, Diane F. All right. With a trine in one's chart, how much impact is there? Just in general, answer that question, Diane. They often say that we overlooked trines in our lives. In other words, trines are things are flowing. We don't often pay enough attention to them. That things and people, I should say people who live their lives, they often get activated by the squares and the oppositions when things really begin to shift along. Trines are kind of an easy flow. Sextiles are opportunities when you put in the effort. Simple explanations here. And conjunctions are when the planets come together very closely, and what they're really doing is blending the meanings of both into a third archetypal energy. All right, I did the nuggets, and let's do some spiritual work. Dear God, please allow me to serve. Please allow my words be filled with love and light, truth, inspiration, and healing for the highest, for the best, as we align ourselves with the Holy Spirit. Amen. And I am with Diane. Diane, I wanted to give you a little reading, my dear Diane. So, Diane F. Feeblecorn, as I'm tuning into tonight, you're still here, so I'm presuming you'd like to have a message. I'm going to give you a little message if that's good with you. And all right, she said yes. So, Diane, the first thing that comes to mind is a legacy of female mover and shakers in your ancestry, starting with your great-grandmother. And I'm on your maternal side of the family. She's just kind of coming in and saying she had to work, she had to raise children, and she had to be in the world. She did all 3 of these things to the level of her ability in the time frame. We're talking great-grandmother, and that your grandmother took over the mantle, the baton, as it were, carried it to your mom, but she says the baton really belongs to you, that you have always carried the baton of thoughtfulness, spirituality, reflection, reading, and learning about the world. You have a long legacy of these strong women, but they're your grandmothers are kind of going past your mom and saying that you are more like them, the great grandmother, the grandmother, than your mom was. And they're giving you this message, Diane, with your fortitude and strength and your ability to perceive things. Don't ever give that a shrug and say, well, everybody has that perception. They are both saying how discerning you are when you make decisions that are based on something that's very pertinent and with gravitas in your life. In other words, when you review, she says, I think it's the grandmother, not the great grandmother. She's saying you're doing a life review right now, Diane. You're looking back on your life and saying, I should have done that. I should have done that. And I didn't. And they're saying, no, you made the decisions you had to do at the time. And the grandmother in particular is saying, you have written things on and off over the years, and they want you to record and write some tidbits that could be very easily digestible to others, whether the others be your own family or publishing. They're just telling you, please take up the gauntlet and write. And I'll leave that with many blessings to you. And by the way, Diane, I happen to know that you're a Gemini, and a part of this sextile is opening all of us up to outside the box thinking, but especially the Geminis. So I want to leave that with many blessings to you. Okay. And then the next person I'm coming to is John Vreeland. Okay, John, as I'm tuning into your energy today, what you just shared on the screen, the next few weeks are going to be super rough for you. I want to address that statement. I have no idea, of course, logically what you're going through. And I don't really know your chart either, but I'm the word that's coming to mind is Cancer. I don't know if you have strong Cancer in your chart, if you're a Cancer sun, Cancer moon, but I'm getting water energy. And know that Cancer is the sign of tenaciousness, because no matter what happens, they do what they have to do to protect and defend. Those are words that actually are, I think, written into the oath of office in the United States, to protect and defend the Constitution. Well, that's a very Cancer quality, isn't it? And so when I look at your energy tonight, intuitively, I want to say that you know how to pivot and how to protect and defend. And whatever you're going through, it involves other people, and it involves you taking a leadership role in the next couple of weeks, and you'll be fine, because you've got that ability to use your intuition wherever you find Cancer in your chart, number one. Number two, I also am giving you this image. Shore up the tools that you have at hand for whatever challenge is ahead in the next month of the Cancer time of the year. And I'm talking about spiritual tools, the tools that you can always count on, whether those tools be prayer or meditation or movement. I'm getting Tai Chi, and I'm seeing a lot of prayer and focus and being by yourself as much as possible to reflect on what you need to do. I'm also getting the name, I think it's Harry or Henry, connected with you, John, on the other side of life. And I don't often get names, but this is a very strong sound that is giving you some guidance and some support and some inspiration. The life of Harry that you can tap into during some challenging times ahead. And I wish you all the best. And thank you for being such a faithful listener to Cosmic Connections, John, and to all of you. All right. And I would love to give you all messages. I just want to make an explanation. When I do the messages, they're perfectly random, because I just use my thumb and the names on there. So I know you have Some of you have some questions, but we're at the end of our time together tonight. See me next week on Wednesday. If you're interested, you can always book a reading with me, no matter where you are in the world, and text me, and I'll get you in if there's nothing available on my scheduler at Cassandra Joan Butler. One more little commercial. I will be back at Lilydale on the 25th of July. I'm doing I think it's going to be an amazing class, not because of me, but because of the topic. I'm combining human design with astrology and giving everyone who attends a human design chart and an astrology chart. And we're going to learn how these two systems of analytical wisdom interface and how they don't. And there's something very much in common with human design and astrology, and that is the message between 2026 and 2027, which is focusing responsibility on the individual soul, no matter what's happening out there, no matter how much clamor and clutter and bad breathing out there in the atmosphere there is. When we put attention on ourselves and with the divine, we'll be just fine. That's my thought. Many blessings to you guys. Have a great weekend. I'll see you next Wednesday, and make a wish on around 10 o'clock in the morning on Sunday. And the wish is, please, divinity, give me guidance on what opportunities I can take, right? Have that expectancy. Expectancy, the key word of the new moon. All right. Bye-bye. Good night.